up, guys? And in this video today I'm going to be talking about if statements, and this is probably the most important part of this course, because if statements are your function. They're your logic to your code, and this is just how all programs run, through if statements. Okay, and so if statements are usually the core of your program and how they logistically go through tasks. And let's just jump right into it. Okay, so if statements are basically, you say if, right? You're gonna type out if, and then you're gonna, here, let me write this in a comment. You're gonna say if, and then you're gonna have your condition. All right, so if this condition is true, then you're gonna execute a certain piece of code if the condition is true. So you say if condition is true, then you're gonna execute code. And let me kind of show you what that means, right? So we're gonna declare two variables, x and y. X is equal to 4, y is equal to 3. And we're gonna make a sort of if statement with this, okay? So if x is greater than y, we're going to say print x is greater than y, okay? And so here we have our first if statement. And if you can kind of break this down, we say if, right? If right here, our condition is x is greater than y. And if x is indeed greater than y, we're going to execute our our code underneath this if block, okay? And our what we're executing is this print function right here with the parameters x is greater than and y. And so we see right here x is indeed greater than y, so we're going to run this code. And it says 4 is greater than 3, all right? X is 4, y is 3. Okay? So we've noticed that, and we can do more than just x is greater than y. We can also do x is less than y. If x is less than y, we're going to print out x is less than y. We can also do, what if x is actually equal to y? If x is equal to y, we print out x is equal to y. Okay? And we can do if x is greater than or equal to y, we can print out x is greater than or equal to y. We can do if x is less than or equal to y, we can print out x is less than or equal to y. And so we can do all these types of things with integers, all right? So write this down right now, or at least memorize this. With integers, we can do all these operations right here as conditions in our if statement. But with strings, we can only do equal to. As far as I know, we can only do equal to. Okay, because it doesn't really make sense for a string to be greater than another or less than another, unless you're talking about a length of a string, which is an integer. Okay, so we have these things about integers, and let's go ahead and run this code. And look at this, it says 4 is greater than 3, alright, so this is true, alright, and 4 is greater than or equal to 3, and which is all the way down here. And look at this, it skipped this if statement and it skipped this if statement, because guess what, both of these if statements are false. The condition is false, so it'll just skip over it, move on to this one, it'll skip over it. And look at this, this is true, so we're going to go ahead and execute this code. Then we're going to read this code right here. Is this condition true? It is not, so we're not going to print this out. Okay? And so, in a nutshell, that is what if statement is. If statements are, I'm sorry for my grammar. So just to recap everything, you're going to write if, and then you're going to write down your condition. If your condition is true, then you're going to execute the code. If your condition is actually false, right? So our condition was false. We're going to skip over our if statement and we're just going to completely disregard it. All right, and that concludes our if statements.